ahead and get started with the compliance part. So one thing that I will share with you is if you would like to use DocuSign, or if you would like to work through .loop, because you do have the option too to, once .loop is turned off completely, you could pay, I believe it's $10 or $20 a month. If you wanted to keep using it, you could actually work through .loop and have it integrated into Command. And this is how you would do it. You come up to your Command dashboard. And by the way, if you've never logged into Command before, you go to agent.kw.com, and that leads you to the dashboard that you see here. When you go to settings, then this will automatically pull up the applications that are available to you. And you will see that the top one says DocuSign. Off to the right, it says disconnect account, because I am connected. If you've never connected to DocuSign before, it will say connect account, and it will send an authorization email to you that you go in, you click on the link, and then that connects it for you. And that creates your DocuSign account that then works through Command. And again, that is only if you plan to use the e-signature program that we have for free for you. The other thing that I would do is go ahead and add in your .loop. Now, I have already connected mine, so again, the only option is to disconnect. Now, .loop's a little different, that it doesn't automatically show up. So if that or any other app you are looking for is not there, that little house is the marketplace, and you can actually click on that and go in to a plethora of different apps. And so, for instance, transaction management, so this is the marketplace. Transaction management would then pull up different types of transaction management. If you're looking for .loop, it would be here. Okay. Now I see .loop for Google Drive and a lot of other things. You just want .loop that's all by itself. It's not here for me now because I've already connected it. But if you would like to go ahead and get it that connected to your account, that's how you could do that. Okay. This is a whole other class, but there are other applications here, like your Facebook accounts, that if you wanted to send out Facebook ads and whatnot, this is where you would go to do that. Okay. All right. So let's get started on when you are creating an opportunity. You must first begin with having a contact. Okay. So hopefully you have already begun to put in contacts to Command, or if you've not, this is a fairly simple process. This red box that has KW at the top left, if you click that, that expands out the names of all of these applets. So these are the different areas of Command that have different opportunities for us to do marketing, campaigns, set goals, do referrals, and control your website and your apps. So contacts, if you go into this, then what we're going to do is add a contact. Now, if you would like to get started with importing in all of your contacts from somewhere, this is the import button that can allow you to do that and put them in all at once. It opens up a spreadsheet that we call a CSV, and then whatever place that you're pulling your contacts from, you would export. You would have to make sure that CSV matches as far as the column names, and then you can mass import. The other great news about that is that Scott Leroy Marketing will do that for you. So if you,
Aimee,
yes.
before we get too much further ahead, I've never really integrated. I mean, I used the .loop when I came on board last year, but I'm not a fan, frankly. So it's just twice the paperwork is what it feels like to me. Is there a way to connect the transaction desk? Would that be in the last step you were showing us, just like connecting .loop?
I wish that we could. There is a licensing or sub-licensing gap there where GLAR does not communicate with us directly. So if you're using Transaction Desk, there's not a way to just import it in yet. Maybe that's something that could come in the future. I know even right now we're doing workarounds to even get the forms in and having those with interactive text boxes. So if you were using DocuSign already, you would already know that there's 2 or 3 different folders you have to grab from because GLAR is not synced with us yet as they should be. Okay. And it's just their sub-licensing. It's not because of anything that we can't do. It's just that they have not given the approval on that. We do have
No,
it.
no worries. I'm just going to save it to my own folder like I used to do.
Mhm. Yeah, and
Transaction desk. Yeah. Simple.
that's totally fine. And I know that transaction desk, when I was a realtor, it auto populates some things for you. Now the
Mm-hmm.
good news is there's also spots where when we put in the details of the opportunity, that also would feed into DocuSign documents. So just keep in mind that there will be opportunities for auto population by using DocuSign. And eventually, where we're headed is that we will have artificial intelligence scan our documents and plug things in for us and even become our compliance. So, yeah,
But
so
that, but we cannot get access to things like clauses and that kind of stuff like we can currently, correct?
you can, it's just a few different spots to go get it.
Okay.
And yeah, that's a different class, but I'm always happy to show
No.
you on a one-on-one too.
Yeah. No, good to know. That's all I wanted to know is could it connect?
Yep. So, the thing is that you have to remember is just however you have those documents, just make sure they're in a PDF form. So
Yeah.
when you get your signatures on the transaction desk, then they're completed and they're in a PDF form. Same for .loop. If you were to download anything from there and then bring it back in, it's PDF form. So as long as it's PDF, you're good to go.
Sounds
Yep.
good. Thanks,
Yep.
Aimee.
So then back in the contacts, what I recommend to all of you, whether you decide to put contacts in here, like all of your database or not, put yourself in as one and practice. So you'll see I've got, Amy Leo in here. And I did that in the very beginning so that I could practice. I just wanted to see what all of this looks like. So again, when you are beginning your compliance part, it always starts with a contact. You're going to have to put in that client as a contact. I would also recommend that if you've got a husband and wife, you should also have both of them in as their own separate contact. And I want you to wrap your head around that there are also some smart plans and basically our automated drip campaigns that will go out, and one is a birthday. And so think of it that way, that the husband and wife probably have different birthdays. So, just get in the habit of going ahead and putting in the husband and the wife as their own separate contact. Okay, so if you do not have any contacts in yet, this is how you do it. So I mentioned the import, if you wanted to mass import those or get Scott Leroy to do that for you. And then if you're just putting them in manually, what you do is you hit add contact at the top right. It's that big blue button. And here is where you would put in the full name. You would put in the email address and you could put in their phone number. Okay. If you needed to add more information, this would be where you put in their address and other info that also comes in handy if you're sending them neighborhood statistics and whatnot. And then as you go on through these contacts, you can even put in their birthdays, their work, and then you can even add your own custom fields. So it only requires, you see this asterisk, it will only require the full name, but I encourage you to go ahead and have everything else in here so that you can do more things with it. Okay, so for any contact, what you can do is actually click on what we call the contact card. And so when I pull up mine, over here, you're going to see that there are many options that you have. One of them is opportunities. So what we're doing today is we're creating an opportunity. I could actually click on opportunities, and then I already see where I'd created one for myself, but you could also create an opportunity from right here. And this will ask you the same information that it'll ask you if you were to go straight into opportunities. And it looks like this. So the default is always going to be Louisville East. If you have a team, you would be selecting that if it was a person or a team. You would select the opportunity type. And this is very important because you can't go back and change that opportunity type later. It defaults at the listing. So if you're working with a buyer, just know that you will need to choose the buyer right here. The owner of the opportunity would be you, or if you're on a team, it might have your rainmaker there. Okay. Then it's going to have the client filled in because I'm going in through the contact card. If we were to go in the other way, which I'll show you in a second, it would actually ask you to search for that client. Okay, and then the opportunity name is here, and this is where you would really want to put, if it's a buyer, you might not have an address yet, because you could create the opportunity and get that started even before you're under contract. So you could have the client's name there. If it's a listing, you obviously already know what the address is, so that's what I would put there. Okay, and then you put the estimated closing date, and that just helps for your tracking purposes, as well as when Rita, our compliance coordinator, goes in, she can see when things are closing and how to prioritize her reviews. And then it will ask the budget, the commission rate, which you'll always want to put your side, whether that's 3 or 4 or whatever you charge. And then it will have opportunity phase, like cultivate is when you first start working with someone. Appointment is when you're going to meet with them. And then active, of course, is when you've already started looking. And then the opportunity stage is there as well. So if you're in the showing phase or the negotiation phase, and then you just hit create, and then that opens up that opportunity. So what I just showed you is how you can actually go through your contact card and create an opportunity there. Now what I want to do is come back over to these applets, and I'm going to go straight into opportunities. So again, you can do this one of the 2 ways. You can go into the contact card and create an opportunity that way, or you can click on opportunities here. And this takes you to what you see in front of us is called a pipeline. Okay, I like this because if you have a lot of clients and you would like to see kind of where they are in the process, this is a process view of all of your transactions. So all of your listings, it shows which phase your folks are in. And if you notice, there's like a little number there. So you can actually click on that, and that will open up all of the people that you have in this phase. And putting them into the next phases and stages is simple. You just click and drag. And you can even click and put this one under contract or closed up here. So it's fairly simple to kind of go dragging everybody through the next phase of the process. So again, this is your pipeline that will have listings at the top, buyers in the middle, and leases at the bottom. You also will see your probable and potential income. So probable means out of all of your opportunities that you have, it will tell you based on the terms that you put in there and the sales price, what your potential or what your, the potential is, what all of them would be. Now the probable would be based on the phases that you've dragged them through. The closer they get to closing, that probable begins to get a little closer to the potential. So if you like to track your numbers and what the odds are and you making your potential income, it's good to use this pipeline for that. Any questions about that so far?
This is the part we have to go through to get to a green sheet, or I don't have to do that?
Right. Well, there's not a green sheet anymore. So what I'm showing you is first you have a contact, you create that contact, and then second you create an opportunity. Okay.
In order to get paid.
In order to get paid.
I have to go
Contact.
to contact, create a contact, then create an opportunity.
That's right. So I created one by going into my contact, but if I wanted to come straight to the opportunity, if I already knew that contact was in there, then that's when I come here, and here's another way to create an opportunity. So that same box that popped up whenever I was going through my contact card pops up here. So you can do it either way. As long as that contact is in, you can create an opportunity through either way. Okay. Now, I also will show you up at the top here, it says all opportunities. So this is another way for you to see a list of all the ones that you've already created. Because you might create one, and again, with a buyer, you don't know what that address is, or you don't have any of the paperwork yet. But an opportunity, just think of it as an opportunity to get paid. So as soon as you start working with someone, go ahead and create it. And then you can come back into it and then add the paperwork later. So here's how we do it. If I click on this opportunity, this is one that I have already created. Okay. Now, all of that box that popped up where it defaulted Louisville East, it made me choose the listing. It made me choose the contact. It asked me for the budget or the sales price and what our commission is. It feeds into this area of details. You still, at this point, have the opportunity to go in with clicking that pencil and editing that information. So the more details you have here, the better, because again, that can feed over into your forms if you were going to use DocuSign, and it will feed over into other parts of what are used for compliance. Okay. So here is where you could edit that information as well as the property itself. So that's a spot where you can go in and have all of the information on this specific opportunity. Seller profile is something that you wouldn't really need to worry about. That's if people are connected to your mobile app and you wanted to create an opportunity through that. Again, if that's something that you would want to learn more, we could do a one-on-one for that. What you'll be doing is hitting documents. So here we are, we have the opportunity created and we click documents. Now you will over here on the side see that there's listed, under contract, and closed. So if you have a listing, this one happens to be a listing, you have some options here. You can, if you scroll here, you can see that you can actually add in all of your listing documents at once. So this would be if you maybe downloaded from .loop and you had all of the contracts already there and you just wanted to bring it in as a PDF. Or if you scanned it in to your email and they were all smushed together, this is how you could do it. So all listing docs, you would click over here, add a file. It gives me a few options here. Manual means that I could actually drag and drop from my computer. So Lenny, when you're talking about transaction desk and then you just want to save it to your computer, and Laura, you talked about this as well. Yeah. This is what you would do. Perfect. Yep. Perfect. So you just basically hit drag and drop, you go to the spot where you've got it saved, and then you hit assign.
So okay. We no longer have to have like a loop per se, even inside DocuSign for Rita to go check anymore?
You don't have to. This is all you really have to do as far as the paperwork. If I add a file, which let me just add something in there so you can see what happens. Let me just say improved path to get paid. Okay. If I hit assign, now, do you see how that submit to MC where it was grayed out, it became blue?
Yep.
Yep, that's all you would do. You would hit it, submit to MC. That's what sends a notification to Rita that something is ready to be reviewed. Okay.
So that's sort of like like the old dot loop inside command.
That's right. That's right. Now, as far as the green sheet and how we're replacing that, there's a couple more steps, and I'm going to show you that. Before I go to that, though, I just wanted to mention here that you have the option to add item. So say that you have all of the listing docs here, but you still want to store your docs, because that's the other good thing about this program is that this can be where you store everything. And I will say to you that even though .loop has agreed, even after we cancel our contract with them, they are saying that we have access to that information, even though we wouldn't be able to make new loops. I have heard from several market centers that it's not the case, that some people are having trouble accessing their documents. So I would not trust it. I would like for you all to go ahead and grab anything out of .loop that you feel like we might need. Now, Rita also has been doing a mass backup for all of our loops. So technically, we will have a certain amount of that data stored for you, that if there was an emergency and you needed to get to it. But again, I would recommend that you go ahead and you get all of your paperwork together and in command here. And so if
when is that cutoff date, Aimee, that .loop cutoff date?
Yep, we still have a couple of months. But I don't want you to think about procrastinating on that. I almost want to say next week or the end of the year.
Is it simultaneous with this at the first of the year?
Nope, okay. It's not. And here's the scoop on that. Lisa had to give a 90-day notice. So when we made the decision a couple of weeks ago to set this deadline, that's when she gave that notice. So
Okay.
technically we have a couple more months. But I don't want that to hold you back because I know how we realtors are. We wait until we're forced to do something. And
Not true. Never.
I know you all. All right, Lenny, you got something else?
Yeah, so basically, we have to worry about current transactions that are not closed. The documents that have already been closed and submitted to MCA through .loop, we don't care about those, right? We have a backup somewhere.
Well, it's really up to you. I like to keep all of my things in folders on my computer, even when I had things in .loop. So for me, I wouldn't worry about it. But if you don't save paperwork and if you feel like you might need to go back and reference something, just go ahead and grab it. And you can make as many.
We have it all on Google Drive, so we're okay. But I'm thinking that basically you're warning us, hey, if you have anything going on which is not currently closed and you already uploaded some documents to whatever, make sure you have access to them because the .loop is going away. You didn't close the transaction yet. So you may lose those documents. So we're talking about current transactions that are not closed, right?
Right. Anything that's not closed, what I would do is go ahead and bring those in to command here. And what you might want to do is to import those and connect the .loop like I showed you in the beginning of the class, where you would go up to your settings and then you would find .loop in that marketplace and connect it. And then you'd be able to work back and forth through .loop and command. Or what you could do, just if you wanted to keep it simple, you could go into the loop, you could download those documents as PDF and then bring them back up into this opportunity when you create it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So again, you have the option to add an item. So that would be if you just wanted to store any extra documents that are not required, but say it was maybe receipts or invoices or something like that. So think of this as your document storage area too. Okay, so once you've submitted to the Market Center, that sends the notification to Rita that she can go ahead and start reviewing your paperwork. She also is able to send back something that is not perfect as an individual form, where before it might have been that she sends back the whole loop. Now she's actually able to send you a notice that, hey, we're missing a signature on this form. And when she sends you that note and you bring up the opportunity, it would actually show a little note next to that form showing you what exactly needed to be fixed. Okay. All right, so again, this is where you upload all of your documents and you submit to the MC for compliance. Now I'm going to show you when you get into the offers and commissions. So think of offers and commissions as replacing the green sheets, okay? The first step is offers. And what we're doing is we're creating an offer here by hitting add new offer. And I already had one here, but let's just go through it and added a new one. So I clicked the blue button there, add new offer, and you can name this whatever you like. If you wanted to say initial offer, or say that you are working on a listing and you wanted to put maybe offer and then put the selling agent's name, if that's how it helped you to keep them straight. But you can name them whatever you like. That's just for you. And so I'm going to call it initial offer, and I'm going to hit create offer. And then this is where it will begin to ask me about 4 main areas. So offer details, parties, terms, and then agent analysis. So the offer date, we're going to say today, and we're going to say that we received an offer and they wanted to close on January 15th. Okay, so we're just going to choose those. And then you can continue along by hitting the blue button that's next to it. At the bottom is parties. Okay, and this probably looks similar to green sheets. If you've done those in the past, you know it has all these sections where it will ask you things like this, like what was the contract date, who are the people involved. So you'll notice the red asterisks are the parts where it will require you to put in that information. So you want to have the buyer name. And we'll just say, I'm going to say, Laura, you are buying something from me. We can just put the last name there. And in the seller party, you would already have that information there because that was you, because that was the contact that you were creating this opportunity for. Because remember, I'm using myself. Then it also auto-populates the representation as you based on the side that you're representing. Then what you want to do is put the name of the other agent. So let's say that Chapovsky is the other agent. All right. And then the next one is terms. This is where you're going to put in the details of the offer. So it gives you the opportunity to put in cash. So let's say they put in 20,000 down for cash, and the finance amount that they had to get a loan for was 180,000. And you'll notice the sales price automatically changes to put both of those together. Okay. And then what we do is we have the earnest amount. Now, sometimes there's a percentage, or if you just knew that you took $1,000 earnest money deposit, you can type that in as well. So it lets you do the percentage, or you could put in just the flat fee. Now, optional fee, this could be where if you charge your own admin fee, or if you had something special that was worked out between you and the market center, you know, that's something that you would want to work out with Lisa Miller. That's where you could put those things. And by the way, I'm going to show you another spot where if you do choose our KW My Way model that's enhanced or supported, and there's a transaction fee, or if there's a referral fee, I'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay. All right. And then it will ask some more details as far as the seller's contributions, if it was for the service contract, or maybe, and that could be like a home warranty, or if they were contributing to settlement costs. So if they were, if they agreed to pay up to $3,000 or however much it is toward buyer closing costs, that's where you would put that. Okay. Then we're going to continue on by hitting agent analysis. And this is your opportunity to kind of give your opinion on this offer, especially if you're showing multiple offers to your client. This would be good for you. That the pros might be that for the offer is that can close quickly. Okay.
Well, and I'm paying cash for Allah's $2 million listing.
Okay. Yeah. And so right there, cash offer. I mean, that is absolutely a great pro. Cons could be, I mean, you all know how it is. There's certain things that you see them and you're like, ouch, you know, that they don't have much to put down, or, you know, if it's, you know, contingent. Unfortunately, that is a con, but you know, it could be that that's how you summarize that for your clients as you present these to them. And then if you wanted to summarize even further with more notes, you could put that there. And then you would just hit save. All right. So now you can see that I have 2 offers on this listing. Because remember, this opportunity is a listing opportunity. I'm representing the seller. And so what you could do is go in and unfortunately, I've already hit accept, but what I could do is change that. And that way I can show you what it looks like. So when you put in this offer, or several offers, what you want to do is go in and choose later which one they actually accepted, because that's what's going to feed back over to the commission part. So, you know, you also have the option, if you see up here, to compare the offers. And as long as you click over here more than one, you can actually print out a comparison that you show your clients that has it all in a nice little visual for them. And I mean, we know that we're in times where there's still 10 to 20 multiple offers. This could be a really great plus for you, a good visual to show your sellers so that they can wrap their head around what all these offers mean. Okay. What you want to do though is you want to accept. So I'm going to go ahead and accept the one. So Laura, we're taking your offer. Okay. Yeah. When I did that, this commissions tab is no longer grayed out. So it became blue and linkable. So it became a link. When I hit that commissions tab, now all of that information that I had put in to the opportunity and to the offer now feed over into how you're going to get paid. Okay, so one thing that you can do is see here that it has the general information. Now, what I've noticed is a lot of times the contract date, if you go into this part, it might not be there. So what you do is you just hit edit general information, and that gives you the opportunity to go back in and make any changes that you need to. If you are working with another agent, then this is also where you would have been able to, well, let me go to the other part here. Under edit agent payment, this shows me, but if you are working with another agent, this is where it gives you the opportunity to change the units. So just like that green sheet was before, what you could do is put 0.5 there. And when I hit calculate commission, that $8,000 just got cut in half. Okay, and then what you would want,
agent or combined agent like you both of you on a commission, right? For example,
right.
co-listing it. We both, I listed that listing with you. So we have 50-50, right?
That's right. That's right. Or if you're on a team and, you know, if you're on a team, it should already have the info for your rainmaker and you there. If it didn't, for some reason, what you would want to do is add them. And this works just like the green sheet, where when we have those two columns, if you had a 0.5 or a 0.6 in one column, it would open up the second column because it would want you to go in and add that other agent. It wouldn't even let you advance without doing that. So this is where you're going to be able to say whether you're working with someone else or not.
My question was, that's if a referral fee is involved. For example, I got that listing, I have to give someone 25%. How do I handle this here?
Okay, so let me show you where that is, but I am going to go ahead and take this back to a unit and to a unit of 1 and save payment. But I will answer your referral question in just a second. If you needed to add that other agent, this is what you would do. You would actually click add another agent, and then that's where that other 0.5 would go here. You start searching, and as I start to type in Ala, she pops up. So everyone in the market center is automatically in here, and that is how you would add another agent in our market center. Okay, if you have a referral, it's done a little bit differently. So I'm going to continue on as if I'm the only agent here. But what I do is I hit edit agent payment. And if I come down to the bottom here, this is where, you know, again, it shows the units. It also will allow you to put in for KW Cares and other things that you would like to give to. And then at the bottom, it says add item. So let's click add item, and it's going to give us some to choose from. So there's bonus, concession, deduction, inside referral, and outside referral. Now, this is where Lisa Miller and Rita Mitchell have said how they would like this to look. So if you charge an admin fee that has nothing to do with KW My Way. Sometimes agents in our office do that. They might charge $195 admin fee for every listing. And this is where you could do that. So there was the optional fee where you could have done it before, but here you could just choose bonus and then put in that amount there, 200, and then you would add. And you don't need to worry about split with the market center. That's not anything that you need to worry about. It's just, that's where you're going to add that in. Now, if you have a referral, what you do is you hit add item again, and you would go down to where it says inside referral and outside referral. Now, again, Lisa and Rita never want you to choose inside referral. If you're working with an agent in our office, they want you to go in with the unit way that I just showed you, where it says add another agent here. Okay, that automatically is going to pull in that other agent that you're working with. And if you wanted to just give them 25% for whatever, then your sales unit would be 0.75 for you and 0.25 for them. If you have an outside referral, this is where it's going to allow you to put that referral amount. So if it's 25% that you agreed to pay someone, then that has the amount there, and then the tax ID information, which that is the same way when you were doing green sheets before. If you have an outside referral, they require that you put in that tax ID number or get a W-9 from their broker, so that you can have that information in there as well. And then you just go through it, you put in whatever those numbers are, the broker name, and then you would hit add. And then that's how Lisa and Rita know that they're paying someone else a referral fee. Okay. I want to point out to you over here too, that if there's missing information, or if for some reason your numbers weren't adding up, then it's going to give you this alert over here. So if you see these little triangles, it's basically letting you know that there's some things that you need to fix. Now, if the numbers are coming up wrong, it actually won't even have submit as an option. It would be grayed out until you fixed it. Okay, so any questions on that? Yes, sir.
I'm asking too many questions, so if it irritates guys, please forgive me. I'm just trying to understand, but maybe that resonates with you as well. Maybe you have similar questions. I have a question about royalty and about capping. There were some transactions in the middle of the year when you are kind of capping on your royalty in the middle of that transaction, or you're capping on your KW fee in the middle of transaction. In the past, when we're doing green sheet, you're always kind of have to be alert. Okay, I'm going to cap on this transaction. At this point in time, system doesn't know how much to take, so I'm going to have to put yes or no, and I'm hoping that Lisa is going to calculate it properly. In this case, I see that a royalty is already populated. And how does it work in this case? You see what I'm asking about?
Yes, and what I need to do is have Lisa give you clarity on that. Now, I do know that it automatically puts that in here so that you see it. And then this is feeding over from Winmore, and that's the same system that she uses. If you notice right here, it will eventually start keeping track of that for you so that you can see how much is left. It's not there yet because we are still using Winmore as a system. And Winmore is kind of the back office program that Lisa uses. That eventually will be absorbed by Command as well. And at that point, at a future date, you will be able to look at this section in the middle of the screen, and you will see exactly what you're wondering, like how much is left on that cap, where am I? Yep.
So technically, if it shows here 480 and I only owe $200, don't panic. Let it slide with 480, then they're going to adjust it and increase my commission by $280. Is that a correct statement?
You know, I would assume so, but again, that's definitely a question for Lisa Miller. Any kind of questions about your cap or splits or how she has things automatically into the system, that's who you would want to check with, because her system that she works with is what's feeding into here now. So everything that you see here, it's based on your splits and your, you know, everybody's got the same royalty, but your splits and things that are coming up here to give you your total are all based on what she has in the system for you.
Thank you. Thank
you.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Good questions. Keep them coming. Larry, how are you feeling about this? Have you done one yet? Okay. But
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. It looks pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm. Before I had a question when I added an offer, and I was like, well, I'm not going to click commissions yet, because what if the offer changes from the final, you know, the negotiation is different from the offer. So you go in and you change that. Mm-hmm. So if there's an agent in the office that we have dual agency with, I'm doing this and I'm just simply, it's one unit for me. I'm not splitting it 50-50 with them, correct? If it's an agent, if I had an agent on my team, then they would do 50-50. But if it's dual agency and, you know, it's another agent's listing, mm-hmm. and I've got the buyer, mm-hmm. it's one unit for me, right?
That's correct. And just like with Dot Loop, there were times that if agents were working together in the office,
Yeah.
one person would do the green sheet. I always feel like it's better for each person to do their own green sheet. That
Agreed.
just kind of keeps your information confidential, as far as your split or whatever, it's just good practice that everybody do their own opportunity, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah. So you would
Okay.
keep yours as one. The only time that you would ever need to add that other agent is if you are actually working on that one side of the transaction with them, or if you're doing like an inside referral, like if you or go on vacation and you're pulling someone in, or you've, got them working for you, that's when you hit add another agent, and then you change those units to however much you agreed on.
Okay. And then this is just my housekeeping stuff that I've talked to you about several times.
Mhm.
So if I want to go back and I need to input my loops from this past year
Mhm.
and so I'm recreating each opportunity individually. I
Mhm.
just need to bring the documents over and not fool with the import feature. And I'm not doing anything with the commissions piece or the offers piece. Is that right? I'm just putting in the documents and
That's right.
calling it a day.
Yep. The offers and commissions pieces, you only need to worry about this if you're still to be paid on it in the future.
Okay.
But if you already have closed out and you're just using this as document storage, then you should be fine. Now, I do know that they have allowed where imports can happen from Dot Loop 25 at a time. But I know that before, when you were trying that a couple months ago,
Didn't work.
I remember some of those details weren't coming over as smoothly. And,
Right.
it's unfortunate because it's, Dot Loop isn't giving us the best help on that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then one more question, and I'm sorry, I'll shut up after this.
You're fine.
So when you're putting in your offers and then your commission, you list the buyer and the seller in the transaction. It doesn't matter if it's a husband, wife, if it's a partnership, whose name you put in there.
No, I usually just put the last name, and I did that even when I was doing green sheets, because it's more just for reference.
Okay.
These green sheets and these commissions now, a lot of these details you're not really going to need to know. It's just a matter of, okay, let's put just as little reminders
Okay.
on there. The most important thing is who's getting paid and how much.
Right. Because if I'm going through a contact record in the future and I wanted to say, okay, they bought a house, what was their contract? And I got to go, I can't find it directly from that contact record. I have to go into an opportunity and dig through the opportunities to find any sales paperwork, correct?
Right. And then, so let me go back out to the opportunities and all opportunities.
Yeah.
And if you notice, you can actually search for them here. If you
By
do this
name.
drop down menu, you can even hit the contact and you can search by their name right there.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
And
that's where you're assigning all the parties to it. And so, the other one I see what you're saying is just reference. Okay.
yep, absolutely. And it's just for storing those documents. Again, we've got a main backup that we do as an office. But as you can imagine, there's hundreds of thousands of data that's there. So I would recommend that you do that for yourself if you like to keep track of all the paperwork here. Or if you still
Right.
had them on folders on your computer or drive for however long you like to keep them, that's good too. But I would encourage you bring it in here, have it all right here in Command, because it's easy to find it.
Will
Okay.
this, after you're done, will this make you move them to a smart plan?
It won't make you, but smart plans are super easy.
Yeah.
You
And I'm
just-
sorry, Larry, I think I interrupted you.
Oh, no, that's okay. I've got one more question when she gets done with this.
Oh, okay,
No.
sure. So yeah, smart plans, if again, you go into that smart plan there. If you first pull this up, it'll be blank for you if you've not created a smart plan or copied one over. But these are all the ones that I've copied over. If you want to see the templates that you can copy from, you hit library. And these are all the ones that Keller Williams created for you. And then if you keep scrolling down, you can also see the ones that other agents at Keller Williams have published. And all you do is you hit add smart plan. And then when you're back in yours, over here, like say I like the holidays one, like there was a holidays campaign. I come over here and hit add contact. I choose which contacts that I want to be on that smart plan. And then once I choose them, this add to smart plan is there, and that's how it's done. So it's not going to trigger it for you automatically, but Laura, that's all it takes to get a smart plan. It's
insane. Why
yeah,
are we all doing that?
and that's the key. So like, and I don't want to get off on a smart plan tangent, but every one of your contacts should be on this one. That's a 12 touch program, monthly neighborhood nurture. So if you go into that library, every single contract should be on there. You add them to that, they're going to get an email once a month with neighborhood statistics based on the address that you have in their contact card. And you can even go into their contact card and add more neighborhoods. And I recommend that when you add yourself as a contact, you also put yourself on a smart plan so that you see what your people see.
That's great.
Yep. So there's 12 touches, and then you add them to a birthday plan. Remember, that was one reason why you want to have a husband and a wife separate, you know, because they're going to have different birthdays probably. And so there's another touch. Automatically once a year, they're going to get it. The home anniversary is another one. So once a year, whenever you close, get them on that home anniversary email. And then this time next year, they're going to get something that says happy home anniversary. Quarterly call plan. This is a reminder for you to call them at least once every quarter, which we should always be on the phone with people at least once a quarter. And what that does is it prompts a task. So when you first come into your dashboard, there's going to be a task there that says, hey, today's the day to call Larry Gaddy.
Wow.
So, yep, easy peasy. So if you need any help, you want to do a one-on-one or a Zoom or whatever on any of the smart plans, Facebook campaigns, whatever, let's do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Larry, what was your other question?
It was not related. It was, so going back to that KW email, and it may be just something I just need to talk to you afterwards. But I tried to send out a mass email before Thanksgiving, created tags, didn't work, you know, called into, it would not, basically I tried to go through the KW email, the mass KW, and then I tried to do it through constant contact, neither of which worked. And I don't know if I have to have it set up through my KW email, which I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, we could find that. So maybe if you like, we can hang on here, and I can show you that. It's a matter, but just so in case anyone else is wondering, when you come up to your settings, so again, at the top right of where your picture is, and you go to settings, one of those applications is, if you scroll all the way down, is your command email. And so what you do is you click manage, and it tells you which email that people could reply to. So if you had a mass email that you send out, then if they reply, this is the email that email is coming from, and it's where you would receive replies from. And if you notice, it says 5,000 per month. So when you use the command email, which is basically whatever email address you decide to put in here, it could be your KW one. It could also be a Larry Gaddy domain. Whatever it is, what you want to do is make sure that email is here. So when you go to command email, just hit manage, and this is where it's going to have the info based on what you did there. Now, sending out a mass email, there's a couple of different ways to do it. If you hit campaigns, so this is where you go when you do a Facebook ad, you actually have emails as an option right here. Okay.
Yep.
And then you also, if you go into designs, which designs is what my favorite applet is.
Well, that's what I did. I created a design, imported it from Canva, and then tweaked it in command to look appropriate, and tried to send it. And it's like, okay, who do you want to send it to? And it links to MailChimp. And it's like, okay, select the tags that you want. And I went through before and, hand selected and added that tag to everybody that I wanted. Said everybody with this tag, and it's like, okay, no names are associated with the tag. It's like, well, I've got 220 of them right here, and they were associated, and it just wouldn't pull them in. And then of course I called somebody, or did the online chat, and it got escalated, and I never heard anything from anybody. But
goodness.
But the it seemed like it was going to be really smooth.
Yeah,
So I
I'm
was
sure there's just
excited about it, but I never sent anything out for Thanksgiving
okay.
because of it. So I
Yeah,
tried, you know, but
let's hang on here, and then you can share your screen, and we can get that tackled. Yeah, you should have received a response, especially if you reach out to Scott Leroy. They usually respond within just a couple minutes if they don't right away.
yeah.
So if there's just some small glitch or something that maybe going into one email, because you mentioned MailChimp, but we're actually using the command email instead. So it could just be a matter of where you have your email address. But let's hang on here once everyone else is finished, and we'll take a look. No problem. Yeah. All right. So what other questions? Yes, sir.
Can I ask you another question? So to summarize, for someone who is new, we're using .loop and transaction desk and stuff like that. So if we're not using anything but transaction desk, that means the steps are go to your account and connect, then to create a contact for transaction, and then create an opportunity, go to documents, offers, and commission,
That's
and
right.
hit submit button. That's it.
That's right.
Well, I have to tell you, Aimee, that I'm very impressed. You made it so simple in the first attempt. You're just like human Google here. Nice to have you. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate your help. Thank you.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Well,
thank you for an offer to have one-on-one if we can have any kind of question about it. I would take you up on that. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. You call me anytime. You and Ala both. It would be good to have both of you on there too, just so that she can wrap her head around it too. And I'm really glad to hear you say that it looks simple, because we don't want this to be scary or overwhelming. It's really a user-friendly system. All of Command is. I mean, it literally was built for us and by us. I mean, do you remember 3 years ago when it was just coming out and it was quirky and weird and it didn't do much? It literally, they took the advice of the agent and they created what we have now based on agent feedback. And maybe even some of your all's feedback. If you went to ideas.kw.com and said, hey, I want Command to do this, or if you went there and you saw what someone else suggested and you voted it up, that's what gets this done. And now it's at such a high level that is just, it's a really great system. So I know that you mentioned that you would only be doing this for compliance, but I challenge you, Lenny, and all of you, use it for all of the other great things it does.
Well, believe it or not, but you pushed me to give it a second look, because 3 years ago I was not impressed. It was not production ready. Absolutely. One problem after another. You just spend the whole day just trying to see if it's you or system, and we just gave up. And this time looks like it's more stable system. I like the features that you're discussing. Campaigns look great, and the opportunity, and looks like it's replaces everything that we had before. So I may give it a second look.
Well, that sounds great. And just keep in mind that this question mark up here, if you ever get stuck, just come up and come to Keller Williams University and type in a keyword. But again, you've got me and Lisa Warfield, our tech ambassador. She's always happy to meet with folks one-on-one. If you ever want to know more about your website and your app, Lisa is a really great person to work with on that. I don't have quite as much as because I'm not a member of GLAR anymore. I don't have the same things, the same screen that you have, but she does because she's an agent. And she's just done this at a high level for many years. Her market center in Ohio implemented Command and started using Command long before we did. So yeah, and then again, getting on those Scott Leroy webinars daily at 1. The calendar that I send out to you all every Friday always includes what those topics will be. So I encourage you, just to sit on there and go back and watch the recordings. Just give them a shot. If nothing else, do the SMART plans. So those drip campaigns are going away at the end of the year. If you were using eEdge or Market Leader or anything like that, they won't be here after the first of the year. So you're going to need to get people on SMART plans unless you have some other type of CRM that does follow up.
So no more eEdge fee on our bill?
Now, there will be some options. It won't go away. Well, from what I understand, it will go away, but there might be some things on the MyKW screen that gives you some options. But what I would do is just go ahead and go into your e-edge panel and turn off those drip campaigns, and then just come over here to smart plans and do what I showed you before. Go ahead and get them on these. There's many more options here for campaigns. And there's so many agents around the world at KW that are sharing what they've created because they love them so much, and we're a sharing culture. So they're publishing those, and you can basically go in and copy straight from them. And even if you wanted to create your own, it's super easy. When you're here, you just hit create. You have a plan name, like I'm going to call it Lenny's Smart Plan, and you apply. And there's just different widgets over here on the right. Whatever smart plan you want to do, if you want it to be they send an email first, you just click send email, and it gives you the options to go in and change, what you want it to say. Even these dynamics here, if you wanted it to have their first name there, their first name, last name automatically put in, and then you set a delay. So say the email goes out first, and then you want to set a delay of, maybe 7 days before the next step, or 7 days. And then you just keep saving them. And then say the next one is you want it to send a text. You hit send SMS, MMS. No, you have to have Twilio set up. There's still a small cost to the mass text, but it's super inexpensive. You can have a subscription to that. And I know info has gone out about all the Twilio options, but basically if you had 300 texts a month, it's $3. You can buy one that's unlimited. If you don't use those credits for a month, they roll over. So if you want to know more about sending those mass texts, let me know, but that's a Twilio thing. But yeah, the smart plans are super easy for you to copy over, or you just go in and create your own, just like this. So that might be your first next step, because, in the getting paid part is the most important, because that's what's going to get mandated. The second most important part is the follow-up that you're given to your leads and your contacts. And smart plans is our way to do that.
Yeah, sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Larry, thank you for interesting questions as well. Thank you. It was very helpful.
All right. What other questions do we have?
I think there's only two of us left here.
Yeah. No, that's totally fine.